What is up, everybody? This is Dylan James. JT Taylor is to my right.
How's it going, people?
Right today. It's right. Your left, my right. And this is Uncle Bobby. He joins us on the show quite a lot. So, we're doing this Facebook Live because, first of all, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for supporting the podcast. You've done so great for us. And we keep doing this every week just for you guys to listen in and to listen to some sports. As JT says, enjoy the sports.
That's right.
So we enjoy the sports every week with you guys, and we want to thank you, first of all. Second of all, we are trying to get our name out there. We recently joined with WBLZ Media, which was a great venture. We've had such a great time with them. They have some great shows on that website, so make sure to go check them out, WBLZmedia.com. We're there every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. We have a replay of our show every week. So make sure to check that out on WBLZ Media. And also, we're trying to get our name out there more often. And with that, we're doing some more marketing things. We're in talks with some sports teams and some organizations as well to bring some more giveaways to the show, bring some more sponsorships to the show, and that's where you guys come in. We are trying to share this podcast and this webpage and our website and everything to the masses. So to do that, we need your help. We need you guys to share this page, this Facebook page you're on right now, and also talk to your friends about it. Have them listen to the podcast, have them subscribe. And if we hit a certain number of 5-star reviews, well, I mean, we'll just say reviews. I mean, we're not trying to force you to give us a 5-star review. If you don't like us, I mean, you can tell us, but we'd rather you message us instead. But if you want to give us a 5-star review and also just a written review as well, we are going to give somebody out there a $25 gift card to Cheesecake Factory. So there you go. You can have $25 worth of cheesecake.
It's my favorite place.
You can take somebody out for a nice dinner. It won't probably pay for all the dinner, but it'll pay for most of it.
Whoa, shots fired, Dylan. All right, I see how it is.
So, Cheesecake Factory gift card. This is actually straight out of Dylan's old wallet. So.
Oh, burn, Dylan.
So,
all right.
But yeah, add to it. That's fine.
I have a very cheesier $25 gift card for. I can't think of the name now.
Oh my gosh. You were on a roll too.
Yeah, I know. I feel so bad. It's been my thing for so long. What's the
Oh, man.
I'll think of the name in a minute and I'll tell you what it is. But
Bob, aren't you supposed to know everything?
He's supposed to know everything. He's supposed to, but.
I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't have the card with me, and I feel bad because I don't eat there.
Okay, so you're bringing in an additional $25 gift. Look at that. We'll actually give one person 2 $25 gift cards.
Or 2 people each get 25.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Try to be nice with you.
We'll try to be nice. We'll see how many people actually do it. But our goal is to hit 50 5-star ratings and reviews by the end of next week. I know that's a lot. That seems like a lot. But listen, there are a lot of friends of yours on this Facebook thing they call Facebook. So definitely share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your dog, cat, whatever you want to share it with. As long as they have paws or thumbs to where they can rate us and give us a review, then make them do it.
Oh, I can add one more thing.
Sure.
To top it off, and I know this will help. If whoever wants a free Chick-fil-A sandwich, ask me that by email.
Okay.
So whoever they send it into, Dylan, he and JT can decide and let me know, and I'll send it to your email address. But I won't send you any spam.
No spam.
But I will send you a free Chick-fil-A
No
sandwich.
spam from Uncle Bobby. It's just going to be a free Chick-fil-A sandwich.
What's the restaurant that has the rocking chairs in the front?
The Rocketeers in the front?
Rocking chairs.
Rocking chairs. Cracker Barrel.
That's Cracker Barrel.
Okay, so it's Cracker Barrel.
That's where the gift card comes from, is Cracker Barrel.
But I will
So
also top it
I
off
like
with
Cracker
Chick-fil-A.
Barrel.
Get those
Well,
grits.
you're not getting it. So
I know.
Anyway, all right.
Well, hey, that's great. So yeah, definitely share this, share our page, share our podcast. We'd love to have more fans come in and listen to us. And also, we love hearing from you guys, feedback from the show, just letting us know what you want us to talk about. So this is kind of why we're doing this Facebook Live in the first place, is for you to tell us for this episode what you guys want us to talk about. So we have some things we're talking about already. I am looking at our comments as we speak. So what we're doing is we're just going to have you guys give us some topics that you would like us to talk about while we are on the podcast this week. So first of all, we're talking about college football and NFL football as well. So we're talking about both. We're talking about last week's results and then this week's slate of games for each. And just to give you a little hint as to what we're going to be talking about, I picked Memphis over Navy this past weekend, and guess what? It happened. It happened. So I was very excited about that. No, JT was as well. Although his upset alert did not happen. Just throwing that out there.
No, the Longhorns came short.
A little short.
We were down 23-10, and then we took the lead 24-23, and then Baker Mayfield goes down the field and throws a deep pass, and the Sooners go up 29-24. And Texas, pretty much the last 5 minutes of the game, we kept fumbling the ball or getting penalties.
Yeah.
And it pretty much cost us the game. We couldn't get back in the game. So I didn't get that upset, unfortunately. But I did remember, you listened a few episodes ago, that Dylan was going on about his favorite football team, San Diego State. And they were undefeated. But I did tell him, you need to watch out for this team called Boise State. And Boise State, they showed up. They showed up and they defeated San Diego State. So they are no longer undefeated.
They did show up. I wanted Boise State to lose that game because I've just had a thing for San Diego State this season. I don't know. I just like that team a lot. They just seem like they're always given the late games. And, I mean, those are actually nationally televised games. They actually are giving good games. But, they always, I don't know. They just fell short this week. I wish they wouldn't have, but, life goes on. So moving on to the NFL, there were some really, really good games. Actually, some really big injuries that happened this weekend. The major injury that happened was Aaron Rodgers. He is out for at least the majority of the season, if not the full entire season, with a broken collarbone. It's a right collarbone, so it's actually his throwing arm. So how do you think that's going to affect the Packers moving forward this season, JT?
Well, the Packers have already made clear with Coach Mike McCarthy that they're going to stick with their backup quarterback, Hundley. He's going to continue playing. I know there was a lot of talk about Kaepernick going to Green Bay, but Coach McCarthy probably shot that down.
Shot that down real quick.
He was pretty much upset, really.
He shot that down real quick.
Reynolds the man. He's going to carry a team. I'm going to stick with my guy. So that's who he's rolling with. And he did all right in their last game against the Vikings. So the Packers are going to stick with their guy. It's just with the Packers running a West Coast offense, that's very hard for someone to come off the street literally and try to learn that in like a week's time. It's just difficult.
It is. But I mean, Colin Kaepernick does do a good job of scrambling, like Aaron Rodgers does. Brett Hundley, even though he did do a lot of that in college, he just hasn't been able to establish the run game as much as he did in college in the NFL. So we'll see what happens with Brett Hundley. I mean, do you think that if they go the next 3 games and Brett Hundley does not win a single game, do you think there's a change at quarterback?
Possibly they promoted their backup, the quarterback that was on the practice squad, on them. So Mike McCarthy, he's just going to stick with his guys. I don't see him bringing anybody in. I mean, I know some people say, they should owe it to the players who've gone trained to try to win the NFC North and go to the playoffs. But, if he's going to ride out his guys, you got to give him the time. So we'll wait and see. We're only in, week 7 now?
Yeah.
So I say it's a week 10. Week 10, let's just see how it goes. The Packers still in it. They're going to stick with it. If not, maybe they might make a change to the other guy. But Green Bay, they're sticking with it. I don't see they're bringing anybody else in.
If you're just joining us now, we're actually talking about things we're going to be talking about on the podcast this week. You can chime in the comments and actually tell us some topics you'd like us to discuss, so we will be more than happy to discuss it on the podcast this week. Moving on to some other injury news, actually in the NBA, Gordon Hayward last night, if you did not see the video...
It was Tuesday night.
I'm sorry, Tuesday night. I knew it was recently.
Yeah.
If you did not see the video of his injury, it's awful. And the announcer says,
the color commentator was blocked out.
Says, Gordon Hayward broke his leg. Gordon Hayward, he broke his leg. He broke his leg. Like, he freaked out on live television. I would have too. If I was there in person, I would have freaked out as well. Seeing someone's leg, if it's supposed to be like this and it's been over like this, it was.
But Joe Theismann said that if he wants any advice, he will help him out.
Okay.
Even though it was a higher injury.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's awful. Although his agent was worried he'd be out the rest of the season, but they're saying now that there's a report out that Gordon Hayward might actually be able to come back in March, and that's the best case scenario. And I just don't see that happening with that large of a break. I don't think it's going to happen. What do you have to say about that, JT?
Gordon Hayward is, feeling for you, man. Pray for you. Hope you get your leg better. And I mean, the Celtics, I think they've shown resiliency in these last couple games. I know they've lost both games, but Kyrie Irving, he's going to carry that team now. Now the real pressure's on him because he's got no one but himself, so he's going to have to carry that team. But unfortunately, he wasn't the only one that got injured on Tuesday night. Last night, Wednesday, the Brooklyn Nets, Jeremy Lin hurt his knee, and they're saying that he tore his MCL. I don't know. It was pretty bad. So they said ruptured knee tendon. So he's saying that his season might likely be over.
Ugh.
So he's another one that's going to be out for quite a significant time. So Jeremy Lin, hang in there. Pray for you as well, man. But yeah, the NBA, besides those injuries, man, it's going off to a bang. The Orlando Magic, they got a win last night against the Miami Heat. So they're off to a good start.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Well, moving on to some other news. Let's talk about some of our segments that we usually do. So we usually do segments on this show. There's Uncle Bobby's Scam Alert. There's also Dylan's Fantasy Corner and JT's Football Recap of the Week. We also do a group segment that's called Winners and Losers and also Final Thoughts. So this week on Fantasy Corner, there's actually a viewer, actually my girlfriend Ann Bailey, asking if Ezekiel Elliott will get to play more than Week 7. Yes, because he's actually going to be playing. He was supposed to be getting his 6-game suspension reenacted, but it did not happen. That's not the case. So now he's going to be playing for at least the next 2 weeks until they can get in front of another judge to figure out what's happening with that suspension. So we'll see if he can actually play the rest of the season at this point. I mean, if it keeps delaying, I think that he will play the rest of the season. So yeah, I would definitely play Ezekiel Elliott. He'll want to play very well this weekend, even if he might be thinking this might be one of his last games of the season. So I would definitely play him this weekend in your leagues. He's definitely a starter for me. So Uncle Bobby, let's preview your scam alert for the week.
Okay, so my scam alert will be again the NFL, and it's the Patriots-Jets game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that very bad call on the touchdown reversal. If you remember that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just don't understand because I thought the rule was it had to be sufficient evidence to have it overturned. So I'm real confused on that.
Okay, so in this situation, Austin Seferian-Jenkins is the tight end's name.
Right.
He had possession, lost possession as he was going to the ground, but regained possession once he hit the ground.
But he was still within the pylon, and then when he hit the pylon and rolled out, he had the ball.
Yeah.
So they ruled touchdown, then they looked at the replay and said they had a different angle that showed that he didn't have the ball at all when he went down.
Interesting.
The angle showed he did. So
Okay.
When they asked Mike, who's the retired NFL referee,
Was it Ed Hockley?
No,
No?
Mike. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
Mike,
the guy's on Fox Sports.
Mike,
yeah. Pereira or something?
Pereira,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it,
yeah.
Pereira.
he basically
Yeah.
said if that was him, he would have not overturned it.
No, well, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't have been an overturned call. It should have been a touchdown.
So, I mean, going back to last week with the week 5 hit with the Green Bay Packers on the helmet hit, and
Yeah.
they were kicked the player out of the game for that. I just think I don't know if the refs are losing it or what's going on with them. But
I mean, at this point, it's kind of like the call that happened with Green Bay Packers versus Seattle Seahawks a few years ago, where they said it was an interception, but it was actually I believe it was actually an interception, but they called it a touchdown, saying that the player who caught the touchdown had possession, although the football was in the grasp of the defender intercepting the ball. Therefore, I think it was something like that. It was one of those two things. Anyway, every once in a while there are those calls that the referees do make that are questionable. However, I mean, we just have to move on from them. I mean, it's tough in those situations to actually overturn a call, and especially with them having instant replay. A bunch of the replays they actually had showed that he did regain regain possession and went down to the ground inside the pylon, inside to make a touchdown. Right. But they said there was one view that they did not show the public that it was a touchdown. So I don't know what they – I don't know. Yeah, they didn't show anybody else, so I'm not really sure. JT, let's talk about your football recap, sir.
Well, to preview my football recap of the week, I'm going to recap the NWSL final that happened this past weekend at the Orlando City Stadium between the Portland Thorns and North Carolina Courage. We're going to talk about Orlando City. They had a game this past weekend against the Columbus Crew. As you know, it's Kaká's last game, so he was very emotional. We'll talk about that. Speaking of the Columbus Crew, there will be my soccer news segment because there's been reports saying that the Columbus Crew, their ownership, Anthony Precott, wants to move the team to Austin, Texas. So it's been a big debate in the soccer news this weekend. So we're going to talk about, in my final thought as well, the campaign that social media is campaigning of hashtag Save the Crew. So Orlando City fans, let's get behind the Crew, support this team. Because the city should not deserve to lose this team like that. Where basically it's kind of like the owner's threatening to move the team from Columbus to Austin just because you're not going to build me a stadium with taxpayer dollars. That's what the real issue is.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely break that down. But ownership guys, Orlando City ownership, you listen to me, please vote no and do not let the Crew leave Columbus. And on top of that, I'll give you my games to watch this week.
Awesome.
Or this weekend.
Very good. Very good. Apparently there's a technical issue with Uncle Bobby's microphone, so now we are going to be awkwardly close and share my microphone. So that might be the reason why. If it looks weird, it is. Anyway, so John Cameron actually posted a comment saying, how negatively or somehow even positively will the injuries of a high number of star NFL players affect overall NFL gameplay this season? So if we look at the NBA is pretty much the best example of this. So on nationally broadcasted games last season, there were coaches out there who were actually resting their star players on nationally televised games. That wasn't the best thing to do because on a nationally televised game, you're expecting all the stars to be playing. Fans are expecting the stars to be playing as well. You can kind of see it with the ticket sales for Green Bay Packers. After Aaron Rodgers went down with that injury, their ticket sales went down 50% once Aaron Rodgers was down with that injury out for the season. So it does affect an NFL team, and with the NBA,
they certainly affects your fantasy team.
It does. It does. They actually instituted a new rule in the NBA that states that you cannot rest players, your star players, during nationally televised games this season. So they're doing things about it in the NBA. I think. I mean, it's hard because it's an actual injury this time. So. It does affect it, a viewership last year with the NBA. It did affect those nationally televised games because they were expecting, players like Kawhi Leonard, players like LeBron James, players like Steph Curry to be playing. And if they weren't playing, then they were just going to turn off the TV because it's not going to be as good of a game as they think it would be. So it will affect it. I'm thinking it would be more negative than positive, but maybe the NFL sees it a different way. So I fully believe that it will be a negative influence on the game, especially with the ticket sales for the Green Bay Packers going down by 50%. So anyway, so those are some of the talks we're talking about this week. If you want to leave more comments to us, if you want to share some things with us, message us. You can email me at dylan@outaboundspodcast.com. You can email JT at jt@outaboundspodcast.com. Uncle Bobby will get an email on there someday. One of these days he'll get one. So you can actually talk to him on Twitter. His Twitter account is...
Life is a big scam. Every first letter of each word is a capital. Life is a big scam.
It's a great Twitter handle. Mine's Dylan_James, and JT's is JTSocka88. What is that, JT?
That's at JTSOCKA88.
There you go. Perfect. Well, thanks for watching this live stream, guys. We will be doing more of these in the future because we hope you guys will enjoy them. And we will see you guys next week and hope you guys listen to the show. See you later.